Hi everybody. We are today doing something where I want us to open our mind to possibly something of a different perspective, belief than maybe what we believe in. This is not a video of whether you're into politics or you only watch this if you like politics, or if you only like Charlie or Erika or Duck, Trump, whoever. This is actually not about that. Yes, it is about these individuals, but the main message is a lot wider and impactful than these individuals for our awareness. Now, first things first, I just wanted to go through, obviously when this happened, the assassin attempt, or actually it did happen, it wasn't an attempt. Erika stood up in her first speech after this, I believe, and she was wearing white. Now, I think I engaged with a couple of subscribers, and I think we all just felt respectfully to not judge certain things that maybe we noticed or did not feel right for us, even if it's in our gut. And some would say that, you know, people grieve differently, which is true. So when I tap into, I want you to leave your emotions, who you support at the door, okay? And I want you to understand a wider point here, please. I don't know if the whole thing saga of Erika Kirk has died down or not, or if it's still uplived, or if she's still delivering. If who was that lady who was really putting out videos against her and stuff like that, and some conspiracy kind of stuff. Candice Owens, yeah. So when I tap into Erika Kirk, now we all have good and bad traits, and sometimes people are on a path to do certain things. Sometimes they're intentionally aware of what they do, and sometimes they might not be aware. Maybe there's darkness or other energies that come into, some people would say, like similar to MK Ultra. I'm not saying she's that, but I'm just giving you a bit of cushioning with what I might say. When I tap into Erika, she has quite a very sarcastic side and can be quite straight to the point. She is very serious and very career focused on what she's focusing in terms of her career or her work or whatever it is. Her messaging with Charlie as well is corporated religion. And she has this massive drive, and they had the massive drive to teach and deliver the messaging of a corporated religion. Now, I think at the time when I was channeling that, I got they were kind of a off slant of Christianity or something. Anyway, but one of the things here is that it's intentionally intertwined and mingled with politics, even if that's not directly shown when it is, okay, but even if it's not. So that's one thing. She can be very argumentative and aggressive. I do believe that they did have fights. I know couples have fights, but I think this could be quite fiery fights. And I don't mean in terms of that it would turn into abuse. No, I don't mean that. She does have a past life of religious past life, some kind of journey of a past life in religion. And she seems to be reliving that, but in a very lunatic kind of way. and intermingling it like they were on this mission. Inheritance is something I got in her destiny, and we know that she's probably inherited that from Charlie Kirk. But the inheritance that she has in her destiny is massive. It's beyond the norm. So again, probably from Charlie Kirk. There is this energy that she's fooled many people with the underlining, not underlining, but the judgment of beauty and those dazzling eyes, falsing her, basically taking away from what you should really be focusing on, you know. And there's a forcing of her to change her life really from the way she is doing it. Now, I will go into Charlie Kirk in a moment. The Kirk pupua was not born a killer, okay. He was taken over, and I've done a channeling on this, so I don't want to go into it too much. Please go back to the video. I think there's only one, or maybe I've mentioned it in predictions. There is a sensitive side to this guy, and I don't want to go into too much because I went into more detail there. If I say one thing here, people will take that one word and say that's all I've said, when there's lines coming out of the word sensitivity, like he believes in the justice of stuff, but there's also this aggressive persona, very strong, and no one really taught him consciousness and who he is. And then you get who am I, and hence you get Charlie and Erika that choose intentionally to mix the religion with politics and viewpoints and go to educational settings, churches, as chosen places at certain ages. For these things to happen, it is targeted at education and churches because they feel that people are telling them, you know, all these things, and they're like, who am I exactly? And all these things come from the education sector, the schools, the unis, the colleges, and the churches. So that's why you often find the targeted areas are these areas for pupils, right? That, what I've just said, is in a very brief analysis. It's very deep. If I go into it further in terms of, you know, what the individual might be feeling, saying, but like I said, his energy was intervened, and there is more on that I would say. But him as an individual, forget what happened to Charlie, if it was him, if he was taken over, if he was programmed, if he was the patsy, etc. It's kind of like they're going, this is why a lot of the transgender at certain ages should reach a certain age and make sure that this is their solution as to who am I, an awareness of consciousness. And there is an energy of intervening with his programming and waiting on him on the biorhythm of where it hits a certain level for them to intervene into that one's social, into the one's soul's path, where they can come into someone's energy, for example, this individual's energy. The difference between the Kirk pure and, for example, the singer David, D4VD, is one is born a killer and one isn't born a killer. Whether he did it or not, that's something different. But what I'm saying, you know, and I think with David, I'm going to make a prediction here. There's a high likelihood if he gets sentenced, which I presume he will, he's going to end up Xing himself, or he's going to get X'd in prison. I feel that energy strongly, and that's not necessarily that I want that or etc., but I'm just giving you that prediction while we're here. I have to remember where this is placed in what video, because then you know it's true. So having said that, we need to remember and not to forget, without opposites there wouldn't be life in general. Without the light there would be no darkness. Without man there's no woman, and if there's no yin there's no yang, there's no positive, there's no negative. So don't take anything sensitively if you're a fan of anyone who I've spoken about. Erika is also very manipulative, especially because she's power hungry on certain things, and that can make her very cold and calculated when she goes into the negative side. She simply, I don't feel simply is the right word, I don't want to use it. She is not able to show real deep emotions. She often lacks the lack of intuition, feeling, and someone like her would run her life like a well-oiled engine, basically. With the power-hungry, manipulative energy, there comes deception. Now, is her eyes really that dazzling blue, or does she add something to it? Maybe. Because her beauty can be striking, and it's, I don't know why I get this sentence from Spirit, and I'm trying to understand what it means. It seems to have made sense when I was channeling her energy. I've got a beautiful woman that she was not used by anyone, and it might literally mean that. But instead, she uses religion and other people's emotions to her advantage and promotion. And she promotes and supports a political agenda that she adheres to. There is an energy of oblivion, over-emotional, gullible, puous mass of public in the US who felt the tragedy that she was grieving, because we know the tragedy of losing a loved one. But there was some form of terrible act by Erika during this time. if we take our five senses to judge a person's actions, it's not going to work, because it's the internal emotions that battle between the logic. The deep emotions will always win when it comes to emotions and logic, a battle. And so you see how that of a grieving widow, we fall for, and I'm not saying she wasn't grieving, you can relate to someone because of your intelligence, their experiences, your education, their education, your beliefs. And we have a lot in common. And knowing grief is something we have in common. Now, unless you understand certain keys to what it means to be human, many of us are like millions. I don't want to say many of us. A lot of people are like millions of other people that seem to be unconscious to pick up on certain things and can easily fall for manipulation using certain tactics like religion and your powerful emotions tapped in by. And that's what Erika did. Erika, at some stage, I'm not saying she wasn't grieving, picked up on those that are prone to fall to manipulation using the religion and powerful emotions to drive her personal goals, her wealth, and her power. There is a platform where many millionaire pastors and people like Erika and her, may he rest in peace, husband Charlie, used to taint immature spirit and souls of teens of certain age groups and confine them in fear and ignorance. Where they may have been questioning, what would I want to believe in, or who am I? And totally even lose that question. The sad reality, which includes churches, Vaticans, etc., had thousands of years to refine its recruitment. And the younger people are, the easier it was to get indoctrinated and to lose the perspective of God, whoever you believe in, God, Allah, Buddha, and a cosmic, spiritual, divine self. And this is why the Kirks aimed for colleges, universities, and certain souls that lacked maturity were vulnerable truth seekers. Kirk's goal and focus was to deliver righteous, religious speeches in countless colleges, universities, all over the US and the world, converting young, immature, so immature. I don't know why it's getting preferred to say lacking maturity, like immature as opposed to immature, teens, youngs, to a growing Christian nationalism movement. Now, this can be very much like cult ethic in some way, even though some people are not going to like that. But if you understand what I'm saying, they aim to indoctrinate young youth, Americans especially, with religious ideology, their religious ideology that they follow, and prepare them for future roles in the conservative, righteous regime of whatever they are delivering. I question that, much like the kids that Charlie may have educated, was Charlie able and willing to seek the truth outside of the Bible or the righteous regime type religion that they follow? That in itself questions intention, questions the consciousness of a being. Charlie did not just spark debates. He built mechanisms. He curated digital military themed rage, and it was monetized. There was a normalization of propaganda, and all this was packaged as patriotism. And now, sanitized grief pours in from both aisles, rewriting history yet again. The real issue is not Charlie. It's the foundations, the infrastructure that he helped build and that currently continues to have power. Like, what's the organization? Is it Turning Point USA? Which was built to outlive him and has outlived him. I had to look this up, but the likes of Rockbridge Network is long-term groundwork for white Christian nationalism. These movements don't need figureheads. They need longevity. They need things to outlive them. And they have studied how to achieve that, whatever benefic, malefic way. One key: follow the money. Who's shaping the policy, the school boards, the laws, behind the scenes, behind the curtains? Sometimes, and often, most of the time, we need to protect our minds. Guard what you consume. Disrupt the narratives you've inherited, should they fall in certain paradigms. Learn the power to be powerful. Learn consciousness. Know your rights. Know your system. And if I might say, follow soul with Zain. It might just bring some things to your awareness. And that's what I have on this channeling. It's here for us to take it, to consider it and leave it. Take it, consider it, and see what pans out. take it, consider it, and see if it fits in right now. Stay blessed and bye for now.